In the vast and mysterious world of One Piece, secrets are slowly but surely being peeled away by Eiichiro Oda. But there's one character who still remains wrapped in layers of mystery: Imu, the shadowy ruler who sits on the empty throne, controlling the world from behind the scenes. For years, fans have speculated about Imu's true identity, motives, and powers, but recently, a stunning revelation involving Monkey D. Garp has shed new light on what could be the most terrifying truth about the final villain in One Piece. While Oda has been teasing Imu's existence for some time, the God Valley flashback arc has given fans the biggest hints yet about their personality and motives. This flashback, packed with legendary figures like Rox D, Sebek, Gall D, Roger, and Whitebeard, also features Garp in his prime, and it's his actions in this arc that reveal something crucial about Imu. Garp, the hero of the Marines, does something completely unexpected. He attacks Imu directly. Using his powerful galaxy impact technique, he lands a devastating punch right on Imu, a move that shocks everyone present. However, the attack barely leaves a scratch on the mysterious monarch. But even more surprising is what happens afterward. Or rather, what doesn't happen. Garp is never punished for striking the world's hidden ruler. That strange absence of consequence might be the key to understanding how Imu truly views the world, and who they actually consider a real threat. What this moment reveals is far deeper than a simple act of rebellion. It suggests that Imu, despite being the ultimate authority figure, does not see Garp, or perhaps anyone other than a select few, as a meaningful danger. Garp's attack may have proven his courage, but in Imu's eyes, it was merely the defiance of an insect. For a being who has ruled in secret for centuries, Garp's strength, no matter how legendary, probably means nothing. And that small detail, Imu's indifference, might tell us everything we need to know about the kind of enemy the Straw Hats will eventually face. The God Valley incident is already famous in One Piece history as one of the most defining battles of the old era, where pirates and marines joined forces to fight against Rox D, Sebek's dangerous crew. But now, with the flashback revealing Imu's involvement, the story becomes even more fascinating. Garp's decision to attack Imu shows his bravery and moral conviction, but it also exposes how detached and arrogant Imu is. According to what we see, Imu doesn't even bother retaliating or ordering Garp's execution, which, under normal circumstances, would be the only possible outcome for such defiance. After all, who dares to punch the world's secret ruler and lives to tell the tale? The answer lies in Imu's perspective. For them, there are only two individuals in all of history worth fearing: a Davy Jones and Joy Boy. Everyone else, even powerful names like Roger, Rox, or Whitebeard, are simply footnotes. This idea completely changes how we view Imu's power and mindset. They're not a ruler afraid of losing control. They're an immortal being who sees the world's strongest as insignificant. Dilly. To Imu, figures like Garp don't even register as threats. Says. They are simply tiny pieces in a game too small for someone of Imu's scale to care about. This revelation might also explain why Garp never faced punishment for attacking Aimu. Fans have long wondered why he remained in the Marines despite his rebellious nature. Was his memory wiped by a devil fruit user? Was he quietly threatened or blackmailed? While those are interesting possibilities, the simplest explanation is that Aimu didn't care. Punishing Garp would require effort, and for Aimu, who views themselves as something beyond human, it wouldn't be worth it. Why waste time dealing with a vice admiral when your focus is on reshaping the entire world? This sense of superiority fits perfectly with everything else we've seen about Aimu so far. When we look back at their other actions, such as the destruction of the Lulusia kingdom, it becomes clear that Aimu only acts when their grand vision is threatened. When the Revolutionary Army took control of Lulusia, that disruption was enough for Aimu to wipe out the entire island in an instant, not because they were angry or seeking revenge, but because it interfered with their version of the world. The same pattern appears in other moments too. Aimu's current interest in Elbaf isn't about personal hatred toward the giants but about control. The giants are powerful and proud, and having them stand against the world government poses a risk to Aimu's plans. Destroying or subduing Elbaf is a strategic move, a way to ensure that no force strong enough to oppose them exists. Similarly, Aimu's attacks on Sabo weren't out of emotion. Sabo discovered the truth about the empty throne, something Aimu cannot allow to be known. Even the murder of King Cobra in the Reverie arc ties back to this logic. Cobra's connection to Nefertari Lily, one of the original founders of the world government, who apparently betrayed Aimu's ideals, makes him a direct link to Aimu's past. Killing Cobra wasn't a political move. It was personal. This suggests that while Aimu doesn't bother with individuals like Garp, anyone connected to Joy Boy's legacy or the ancient rebellion is a genuine concern. All of this supports one powerful theory that's been circulating among One Piece fans for years, that Aimu isn't just a ruler, but possibly a godlike being from the Void Century. Their attitude of apathy, their control over life and death, and their ability to erase entire islands without remorse all point to something far beyond human. Aimu might be an immortal remnant of an ancient civilization that once rivaled the D-clan's ideals. Perhaps they once stood against Joy Boy, or maybe they were a part of the same ancient world that fell apart. Whatever the case, their existence seems eternal and detached, as if human life means nothing to them anymore. That would also explain why only two people truly scare Aimu, Davy Jones and Joy Boy. The names might symbolize something much deeper than just powerful warriors. They could represent inherited wills, unstoppable forces that carry the same ideals across generations. When Luffy declares himself as the man who will bring freedom to the world, Aimu doesn't just see him as a pirate. They see Joy Boy's will living again. That's why Aimu acts so swiftly when someone begins to uncover forbidden truths or inherit that legendary will. It's not about strength, it's about legacy. Garp's punch, though ineffective physically, symbolizes something Oda does so well in One Piece: defiance against power. The fact that Garp dared to hit a being like Aimu, even if it meant nothing in the grand scale, shows that even the mightiest rulers can't completely control human spirit. It also fits with the D clan's legacy, the idea of laughing in the face of gods and tyrants. Garp's bloodline, shared with Luffy, continues that tradition of rebellion. Even if Amu ignored him, Garp's act is symbolic of the unbroken will of freedom. When you think about it that way, the lack of punishment becomes poetic. Emu doesn't destroy Garp because they don't need to. Or maybe, deep down, they can't. Perhaps something about the D clan's spirit makes it impossible for Aimu to directly intervene without awakening the very thing they fear most. Or maybe Aimu's arrogance blinds them to the danger that Garp represents, which will one day lead to their downfall. Either way, the incident tells us that Aimu operates on an entirely different level of thinking, beyond emotion, beyond revenge, and even beyond humanity. If we take a step back and look at the story as a whole, this revelation adds massive depth to what's coming next. Luffy, the inheritor of Joy Boy's will, is slowly building toward a confrontation that will shake the entire foundation of the One Piece world. The more Oda reveals about Aimu, the clearer it becomes that this final battle won't just be about power. It'll be about ideology. The same way Garp's fist represented defiance, Luffy's final fight will represent the breaking of an ancient cycle. Aimu's godlike apathy will collide with Luffy's human joy and will to live free. So, when Garp hit Aimu with that galaxy impact and survived to tell the tale, it wasn't just a shocking plot twist. It was a message. Garp may not have hurt Aimu physically, but he exposed something even more important, that Aimu doesn't see mortals as equals, and that arrogance may be their greatest weakness. Emu's refusal to acknowledge Garp as a threat proves they see themselves as untouchable, but that overconfidence could be exactly what leads to their eventual downfall when Luffy finally rises to face them. This is why Garp's moment in the God Valley flashback might be one of the most important scenes in all of One Piece. It's the first time someone directly challenged Emu's divine authority and lived. It tells us that no matter how powerful or ancient Emu is, the human will, especially that carried by the D clan, can't be completely erased. Oda has always built One Piece around the theme of freedom, and through Garp's defiant act, we see that theme glowing even in the darkest parts of history. In the end, Aimu's mysterious indifference toward Garp's rebellion doesn't make them look stronger. It makes them more vulnerable, because the moment a ruler stops fearing rebellion is the moment their downfall begins. Garp's punch might not have left a physical mark, but it cracked the illusion of Aimu's invincibility, and that's something even the strongest power in the world can't fix.